Morning, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all to ET Retail's Fashion Forward panel discussion presented by Fashmates. The Indian fashion retail industry has evolved and grown drastically over the last few years, changing consumers' behavior, rise of e-commerce, new age startups, and technological advancements are the key factors which have fueled the growth of the Indian fashion industry. The topic for today's discussion is enhancing the digital capabilities of fashion retailers, a deepening view. The virtual discussion will host prominent faces of the Indian fashion retail industry, fashion influencers, technology solution providers, and industry experts. Ladies and gentlemen, you can drop your session-related questions in the chat box. Our moderator will pick your questions at the end of the discussion. Now let's begin the discussion. I would like to invite our moderator, Mr. Pradeep Kumar Jain, Associate Partner, Digital Enablement, KPMG. The panelists for this discussion are Mr. Pankaj Kankar, Chief Technology and Product Officer, Ajio; Mr. Ashutosh Dabral, Chief Product Officer, Tata Click; Mr. Sanjay Kumar Tripathi, Chief Digital Officer, Bestseller; Ms. Sujata Biswas, Co-founder, Suta; Mr. Harish Ramchandani, Founder and CEO, Fashmates; and Ms. Sukriti Grover, Creative Head, Fashion Influencer. Thank you to all of you for sparing your time and pleasure to have you here. Now I'll hand it over to Mr. Jain. Over to you.
Thanks, Annie. Thanks a lot. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you're very much audible.
Good morning, everyone, and good evening for Harish. I'm extremely delighted to welcome you all to this panel discussion on capitalizing on technology, enhancing the digital capabilities of fashion retailers at Deepening view. My name is Pradeep Jain, and I am an associate partner with KPMG in the digital practice. I mainly focus on the consumer and retail market space at KPMG. Roughly about 24 years of experience with more than 14 years in the retail industry. We have with us esteemed speakers from the industry. I'll probably briefly introduce them to you all. So first of all, we have Pankaj Kankar, a Harvard Business School alumni. Pankaj is Chief Technology and Product Officer at Agio, where he heads technology for fashion and lifestyle business. Before Reliance, Pankaj was Chief Operating Officer at Farai. His earlier assignments include stints with Lenskart and Freecharge as CTO. Pankaj has around dozens of patents and several research papers in top-rated conferences and journals. Welcome, Pankaj. We have Ashutosh Dabral. Ashutosh has 20 plus years of experience across Fortune 50 firms and startups. He has been a two-time startup founder in the past. Currently, he is the Chief Product Officer at Tata Click. He has earlier done product roles as Money Trap, Target, Yahoo, AOL, and Dell. He has launched products in US, Asia, Europe, and led teams across multiple geographies. Ashutosh has also worked across e-commerce, consumer, internet, and fintech. He is an MBA from IIM Calcutta and has been the guest lecturer for a couple of courses there. Then we have Sanjay Kumar Tripathi, an alumnus of IIT BHU and IIM Ahmedabad. Sanjay is currently the Chief Digital Officer at Bestseller. Sanjay is an experienced strategist and accomplished IT leader with more than 2 decades of global experience in driving innovation and digital transformation across varied industry verticals. Proving excellence in successfully driving transformational projects, setting up competency centers, managing large-scale ERP programs, and running full-scale IT organizations. Welcome, Sanjay, to the panel.
Thank you, Pradeep.
We have Sujata Biswas. Sujata is a sustainability enthusiast, content creator, and a mother to her son, dog, and plants. She is a TEDx speaker as well. She is an alumnus of CET Bhubaneswar and Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, Delhi. She was engaged with SR Group, Jindal Group, and IIT Bombay for several years before co-founding Suta with her sister Tanya. To do so, she quit her PhD and dove headfirst into the weaver-centric fashion D2C e-commerce industry. She was named as 40 under 40 by Business World and was a recipient of the Indian Achievers Award for Young Entrepreneur. Welcome, Sujata, to the panel. We have with us Harish Ramchandani. Harish is joining us from San Francisco, California, US. He is the founder and CEO at Fashmates, Inc. By combining the power of more than 500,000 human stylists and advanced AI, Fashmates empowers top brands to increase revenues by selling complete and personalized of styled outfits in lieu of individual products. Harish is a seasoned executive with more than 23 years of experience working in both Fortune 500 and startup companies. He is an MBA from University of Michigan, US, and MTech from IIT Delhi. We also have with us Sukriti Grover. She is an alumni of Institute Maragoni Milan in fashion styling. She has been styling Bollywood celebrities for a decade now. Some of her well-known clients are Kriti Senan, Akshay Kumar, Tamanna Bhatia, Sania Malhotra, Radhika Madan. The list goes on. In the past, she has also styled Katrina Kaif, Kartik Aaryan, Sushant Rajput. Currently, she is the creative head of her brand Sukriti and Akriti Collections. Welcome, Sukriti. Welcome all of you. It is my pleasure to host all of you in this panel discussion. In today's world, if you see, customer experience is actually a key to succeed in the business. And that is true for all the industries and more so for the fashion industry. And I believe that for a good customer experience, personalization is one of the most key element. Today, we are going to discuss various aspects of personalization with our esteemed speakers. So with that, I will probably go ahead with my first question. And first question is for you, Sujata. Sujata, I would like to understand your views on personalization. Do you think that customers expect a wide range of item selection, or they prefer a curated, personalized, or hyper-personalized buying experience? So what is your view?
Hi, I think it's a very interesting topic, and I think the panel, like everyone will agree that personalization is the way to go. So what happens is it's a chaotic market, right? Everybody wants your attention. So there's just one customer and everyone wants a space in your mind. And in olden days when you would walk in a store and if the shopkeeper would recognize you, oh, Sujata, you've come here, come back. Remember you purchased these, I have few more colors in this. So you just get that personal feeling, right? So that's how you would keep going to that store. And when there is so much chaos online, when there are brands who could just come to you and actually not show you what you've bought and show you something which you might like, it'll just change your experience. I'm not saying Suta already has it. We would love to, we're trying to get there. But I think there is no other way to go, right? Because when everyone starts offering that, it becomes a mandate. Now, customer has started feeling that it's no more that I have found the brand. They would want to feel that the brand has found me. Like I am the special one, you found me, and then I'll show you my loyalty. And nowadays, customers are not just here to buy. They would want to belong to the brand. They would want to influence other people, because this culture of influencing people, and not just, I'm not saying on social media, it's also when you walk into the office, you would want two, three more people will ask, oh, where have you bought it from? And I'll also buy that. So that kind of culture has come, and hence I think personalization plays a very, very important role. There are different ways of doing it. I'm sure we're going to discuss in length. I'm just waiting to hear more about this, but yeah, it's like a no-brainer. It's a must do for all the brands.
Thanks, Sujata. And I absolutely agree with you. Personalization is one of the very, very key element in engaging with the customers online as well as offline. So Ashutosh, second question to you. What do you think? Is the personalization only about showing the right set of products as per the choice of the customer on a website or on app or in offline stores? Or do you think that this is much more than just showing the right products to the customers? Yeah. Obviously, that is one of the key elements.
Yeah. So Pradeep, I think it goes much deeper than that, right? So at a very high level, when you're looking at personalization, you're looking at all channels and all touch points where you're interacting with your customers, right? You're also trying to figure out where personalization or a personalized element would help the most, be it in terms of conversion, be it in terms of engaging them more. Just as an example, right? So it could even be how your search behaves for a particular customer. You know more about the customer, you know how they behave, what kind of products they prefer. You will boost different kind of products for these customers. How you apply filters, which kind of filters show. So if I know there's a customer, I know their behavior, that they always look at, they are very price conscious. They always filter by price, low to high, right? So it gives me an opportunity to filter the products directly that way for them, right? So that, their job becomes easier, much easier for them when they're looking at this. The overall navigation can also change based on customers. Then, also other stuff like messaging you're doing to the customers, be it through WhatsApp, be it through SMS. A lot of it depends on what type of customer, how you're targeting them. And then, if you look at the Indian context, even payments, you can do a lot of personalization there in the sense that if I know this is a user who prefers UPI over something else, right? I may want to show that as the first option, make that a much easier option for the user. Or if it's a wallet user, where it can be a one-click, checkout for this person, I would do that. But if I look at, the overall, I have to look at all the touch points. You have to look at all the touch points with the user. Uh, as I said, it could be, and most of it is driven by real-time data, right? Or first-party data. You have a lot of data. But then, going deeper, if you look at a country like India, so many states, so many different languages, so many differences, right? You could also look at very localized and targeted content. Even when you're looking at your PDPs or PLPs, you could change some of those content there based on where maybe you have information about the demographic profile of the customer or any other information about the user. And then even discounts, right? And I think everyone in fashion would agree, discounts drive a lot of sales for you, right? So very targeted discounts becomes a big way for you to garner more sales. So I would say, it's much more encompassing than just showing, things to the user on the website and app. It's the whole journey. It's everywhere you touch base with them is where you're trying to personalize this.
Thanks. Thanks, Ashutosh. And I completely agree with you. I mean, couple of my own observation that you mentioned that even the payments could be personalized for the customers. I mean, one of the key things which I obviously see is that your credit card details are sort of saved in an encrypted manner in most of the websites. So that's nothing but personalization. I mean, it's a one-click kind of payment, right? And secondly, I mean, I have seen that most of the retailers, they do a lot of segmentations across the customer based on their purchase behaviors, etc. And then they do the promotional events basis those segmentations. So I think these are a few more examples of personalization which come to my mind. Yes, Sanjay, the next question is for you. I would like to understand your views because you are there both in online as well as offline. I mean, bestseller is there, a lot of stores are there, and you are present in online also. So, how do you provide the same kind of personalization experience to both the customers in online as well as offline? I'm sure that you must be facing a lot of challenges in doing that. So, want to understand your views on that.
So Pradeep, the way to look at it, right? The word basically, which has become very, very common these days is physical, right?
Yeah.
So there is a physical, there is a digital, right? And the boundaries are actually, getting blurred between physical and digital. The customer has become ever demanding, and no matter where they transact with you, right? At every touch point, they want a similar experience. They want you to treat them uh, in no different way, right? And if you look at the journey also, right? The buying journey, starting with the discovery to purchase, right? And to the post-purchase. Now that the whole journey is no longer linear. 10 years back, it was kind of a linear journey, right? If the customer is coming online, they will eventually buy it online and probably close the purchase. Or if I'm going to a store, then probably I look at the items in the store, go to the trial room, check it out, and then probably that's where the journey was closing. So if you look at some of the statistics, and it is common across the industry, but we I know are the witnessing the same that let's say more than 50% of the customers being in a store, they scan our website, they scan partner website to look for the similar products, right? So the customer has a lot more information than what he was having earlier. And the kind of experience, as you said, right? Be it personalization, be it discovery, I think they want a uniform kind of experience. And how do we do that, right? And I take what Sujata was telling, that tech-based retail, right, is no longer an option. It's no longer a choice. It's a must. It's the priority for every retailer. And how do you enable that tech-based retail, at least in terms of personalization? I think they say the data is the new oil, and here the data becomes the king. unless, how do I know? I mean, Sujata was giving example that earlier you go to a retailer and there he was recognizing you by face, by name and all that. But the kind of, the mass market, the kind of basically, the malls and the kind of a store and the kind of the people coming in the store is not, possible to recognize each and every customer. So how would you do that? I mean, that is basis the data. The data basically you are transacting online, you are transacting offline, you are transacting through WhatsApp. I think, I mean, once we have the data of the customer transacting at various places or partner online, and if we have a 360-degree view of the data, then there are engines like AI and ML engines. With that, you curate the data, you mine the data, and then come out with a personalized recommendation for the customer. Answering your question, how do we do that? I think the way is basically that we are trying to collect data from each of the let's say channels. So if you're buying from the store, then we have your data. If you're buying from online, then we have your data. What did you buy? I mean, what is your preferences? And basis that we are trying to give unique experience to the customer. Not that we are there, we are fully there, but that's the target, is that we want to have a 360-degree view of the customer. And once we have that view, basis that view, we would like to mine the data and then come out with a personalized experience to each of the customer. And again, I go back to what Sujata was telling, that everybody wants to be treated differently. And at least the kind of a market where we operate, the customers basically would like to have that kind of treatment where they are recognized by their name, they are recognized by what they are buying, what they would like to buy. So that way, I think this has become must, and it's like the work is on, and I don't think that we will or anybody would reach to that perfection. But then that's the journey basically where every retailer is on, and we are also doing our bit to it.
Thanks, Sanjay, and I completely agree with you. I mean, it's a 360 view of the customers which is needed. In fact, one of my customers, one of the retailers with whom I was working, what they did was that they used to take out the abandoned cart at online in the offline stores.
Mm-hmm.
So if a customer walks into a store, the salesperson will have visibility of the abandoned cart of the customer at online. And they would like to propose the similar kind of material that why don't you buy this is on a discount, etc., because abundant cart gives you a lot of insight into what is the interest of the customer.
Exactly.
Yeah. So thanks, Sanjay. Pankaj, the next question is for you. Pankaj, do you think that the marketplaces like Agio, they look at the personalization in a different manner than the other brand.com, or your definition of personalization remain exactly same as the brand.com?
So broad definition, Pradeep, would be same, right? But before addressing your question, I think there are some interesting elements which came out by Sujata, Ashutosh, and Sanjay. So I just want to take, if you allow me to step back and go on the larger point of personalization. See, I recall late 80s, I was 12, 13 years old. And I remember that we had this, I was in a small town, brought up in a small town. And we would go to this shop in the town. Almost every time we have to buy the apparel, right? So this shopkeeper know that, when my birthday come, and then he knows that, we have come to the shop to make a purchase for my birthday, buying a dress for my birthday, right? And then he would say that, sir, last time you had wear a formal, or you had taken a Western wear for your birthday. This time you would like ethnic. So, I would not like to, if I wear Western last birthday, I would like ethnic and some different ethnic next birthday, right? And he also know that I don't like yellow color, right? But once he told that this is a different yellow, lemon yellow, right? So the point I'm trying to raise is personalization has always been there, right? And the level of personalization I am talking about, with all the technology, we are still not able to reach there, right? But what has changed? Why it has become talk of the, I think it it is basically now we want to do it at a scale. It has always been happening, right? But we now want to do it at scale. But the depth of personalization, of course, we would take time to reach there. So that's a point I wanted to put forward, that this has been for ages. But now coming to your question, yes, I think when you are in a marketplace, right, the variety, firstly, the user segments that you are dealing with. For example, if you are an H&M brand, right, you have a narrower range of customer segment that you would be addressing to, right? But generally at a marketplace, the segments of customer that you need to address to and hence drive personalization is much wider. So that makes personalization, the approaches has to be different. It makes it a bit more challenging, as well as the assortment variety is huge, right? The choices are too many. Now, we say customer want choices. Yes, customer want choices, but not a wide range of choices, right? Uh, but because you are catering with different varieties of catalog and segment, you have this. So hence, in case of marketplace, narrowing down and addressing different segment, that brings its own set of nuances. Even we have to look beyond brand. We also have to understand users' brand preference, right? In a case of marketplace, whereas for brand, again, this problem is a bit lower. But I think on the brand side, one of the different challenge which brand.com have to face is how to make sure that customers stick to their brand, right? Which brings a different nuance to the personalization. So I see those subtle differences between the personalization in a marketplace versus brand.com.
Thanks, Pankaj. And I am actually completely aligned with you that personalization has been there since beginning. I mean, what a small-time retailer story which you told us, that at that point of time also he used to give the personalization, but all from his memory, I will say. Now we have all the systems, but the data is also huge, and we have to provide all that personalization to all customers. So thanks, Pankaj. Thanks for your insights. Sukriti, you are one of the leading stylists in the country, and you have been doing the styles for a lot of Bollywood celebrities in India. What do you think? Do you think that personalized styling can be a good tool to engage and retain customers online? Sukriti?
Yes, definitely. I think personalization today, if you want your product to be a habit with the consumers, I think personalization is the key. And I feel it's nothing better because, today's world is extremely vain. Everyone wants to look good. It's all about oneself now, whether people are taking selfies or they're all over Instagram and on social media. The key is to look good. Everyone wants to look their best. I feel like there is so much out there now digitally that, people want to, there's aspiration. They all want to look a particular way. So I feel like stylist inputs are extremely important. And I feel that's a point where you actually convert a liking to a sale. The thing is, like, when a customer comes and a stylist who has definitely an idea about your body type and what works for you and what are the latest trends, what are the fads, what might not work for you. If you kind of provide that confidence to your customer, they are going to purchase it. And I feel like at the end of it, it's a relation between a stylist and a customer that will make them make that purchase. Like, I feel, especially in the pandemic, there has been a big shift in the consumers. They have gotten spoiled because of personalization. Everything in the last 3 years has been online, and there has been more personalization on. I think the brands have really pushed the limits to be able to make sales, because last 3 years were tough for everyone. And I feel like having a personal shopper or a stylist who has the expertise has already made consumers used to that. So now they expect that. And I feel that I think a stylist, because they are from a fashion perspective, are going to be able to convince you to make purchases. And I feel like you will have the best insight onto, what's actually looking good on them. At the end of it, everyone wants to look good. And that if it comes from a stylist, is definitely going to benefit a brand. So I feel, as a future of fashion, this is definitely one of the key elements. You see, like, several brands already personalizing things. Things have shifted from one size fits all to, customizing things to people's sizes. Like now that has become luxury to be able to provide that. The brands that are already like prethwear and they are providing customization, that has already become a luxury. So going back to, I think, like starting off with personalization that was always there, then having the last few years of basically one size fits all and having ready to wear brands and common sizes, and now is moving to personalization again, which has become luxury. So I feel if you give that to the client, it definitely will boost the sales.
No, I completely agree with you, Sukriti. This is the way to go. And your point is absolutely taken that everybody wants to look good. And what more important than a personal stylist over there? Harish, you are also in the business of creating stylist outfits, and you do it by mixing and matching the products from the top brands. In fact, you are running a startup in US on that. So what is your view about styles being as one of the key personalization tools in the online space?
Yeah, that's a great question, Pradeep, and I completely agree with Sukriti on the importance of styling and mixing and matching products according to the customer taste. See, what I believe is that the fashion is extremely personal and unique. And as Sukriti has mentioned that everybody wants to look good, we personally highly believe in that. Our mission of the company is that we want to make everyone look and feel good. And the way we think about personalization, obviously there's a traditional way of, looking at the demographics of the customer, looking into the, the location, looking into the age and so on. We go beyond that. What we believe is there has to be style-driven personalization. Because at the end of the day, the customer is buying for a look. They're buying an item and they want to mix and match that with their existing items in the closet. And they want to wear that head to toe look and then impress other people or feel good about it and whatever the purpose is. But they are buying for a look. They're buying for a occasion. So personalization, the way we think about it is like three main things. One is the shopper's style graph. That includes the body shape of a person, that includes the patterns, the materials, what they want to show off, what they want to downplay, and so on. Number two is about the macro context around the market trends. What's happening in the market? I want to wear that. And if what is the weather? Tier 2 cities may have a different perspective. And lastly, the third point is about the occasion. See, they want to buy for a certain occasion. They don't want to buy the specific product because they really don't know what they want to buy until they see it. There's an inspiration aspect of it. Until they're inspired, they don't buy. But they're shopping for an occasion. So I'll give you an example of that. It's like if I want to buy a Bluetooth speaker, then I'll just search and then I'll find maybe 10 to 20 products. I look at the information about ratings, reviews, the specifications of the product, and so on. But if you type in the search box red dress, you will literally see thousands of red dresses, right? You don't know which one is good for you, right? And that's where I think the personalization comes into play. How do you take so many SKUs and make it personal to the consumer based on their style preferences, not just what they purchased in the past. But if they purchase, let's say, for example, top in the past, now you want to show the bottom or the accessories and so on. So mix and matching products. So, and in fashion is mostly about the inspiration, less about the information. And that's where we come in. We have over 500,000 stylists on our platform. We also have AI stylists. We take brands and retailers' products and we make really shoppable outfits, trendy shoppable outfits, and we put it back on the brand's website and personalize it to the customer experience. So if you like green color, for example, or if you like slit dress, if you like to show off your sleeves, so you will have sleeve, otherwise sleeveless, and so on. So there's a lot of personalization that goes into the play. And then we also enable the virtual digital content. So for example, today, every e-commerce is based on a product, but we are based on the look. So there's a look-based commerce. So I take a product and I can style that same product in, let's say, 100 different ways. So same product content will become 100-piece content. That same product will be seen in 100 different pieces of images that can be shoppable across digital, social, physical channels. And it ultimately drives the incremental revenue per visitor, because people buy multiple products together. If they're mix and match together and personalized to their needs, they'll tend to buy multiple products in a single transaction, increasing about 25% of the basket size. That's where we come in.
Thanks, Harish. I completely agree. I mean, if we have the complete outfit as a style, and that's a win-win for everybody. I mean, whatever brands which you are selling, that's a win-win for them as well as for you and for the customer as well. Right. Sujata, coming back to you, in today's world in the retail business, the customer is the king and the queen. The brand needs to provide a seamless shopping experience to the customer. So what is your view and how you are doing in your website that how do you acquire, engage and retain the customers? I mean, it's a cutthroat competition these days in the fashion industry.
So when I hear seamless, I think what came to my mind is when you have an offline and online, how do you become seamless? I think that's more difficult to achieve. And I have a store in Mumbai. I'm opening a store in Calcutta and Bangalore as we speak. But you know how to make the customer feel that you are same everywhere. And honestly, humans are becoming more brand and brands are becoming human. So I think people expect the brand to behave like a person, irrespective of they have a face or no face. But if I ask you like whether you know Fab India has a face, you will have something in your mind. Zara has a face, yes, there is somebody, right? So if the brand, if you walk into a store of that brand or you go into the website, it should behave the same way. If I ask a question here and I ask the same question in the store, the problem has to be addressed in the similar way. For example, this pickup, for example, you placed an order online. Go to the store and you ask them, oh, I received the order just now. I just want to return this. I'll drop it here. I'll pick this one up because I like it. So to make that seamless, that's such an important thing. And I think it's something that is very difficult to achieve, but I think people are doing it very brilliantly. But I think that is what seamlessness means. The resolution of any problem that occurs at any point of their journey has to be seamless across every touch point, physical, online, and in online, there are 1,000 others, right? It's email, it's WhatsApp, it's SMS, it's everything. You message me, I should reply in the same way. Even chatbots, right? Let's say if my website has a chatbot, my chatbot could be like a robot which is answering, right? A bot which is answering, but it has to be monitored by someone because questions can be super complicated. I've picked this, I'm going to drop this, but I'm going to pick this. But if the size difference is there, after 10 days, I'm going to return it. So there could be such complicated questions. And I think it is super complex when it comes to operations. When it came to an old store, if you just go there, the problem will be solved in a quick click because somebody will just answer the question and finish it right then and there. But when it comes to so many things, so many touch points, it becomes all the more difficult and all the more important for brands to solve it in a very, very seamless way without any glitch. Easy to say, absolutely difficult to achieve operationally, but that's what scale brings you, right? More and more complexities.
Thanks, Sujata. And I pick up some good quotes from you that brand should behave like a person. So wonderful quote from your side, and I completely agree with you that it should behave like a person. Maybe it has a face or no face, but yes, in our mind we definitely have a visual for that particular brand. So extremely important views. Thanks a lot. Sanjay, coming back to you again. And this is about again the online versus offline experience. So when we go to a fashion store or a retailer to buy a garment, I mean, as Indian human tendency, we are going to touch the cloth and see that how the cloth feels like, how will it feel like on my body, and so on. So in a store that is sort of easy, but how do you provide the similar kind of experience to the customers online?
Interesting question, Pradeep. And again, I say, right, easier said and done, but then, very, very difficult to achieve. But there are ways and means, right? And again, I say that, tech is something on which the industry is banking a lot, right? To provide a seamless experience, what we talk about, truly omni-channel experience. Not only in terms of, let's say, the feel of the cloth, the feel of the garment, but right from, what you display on site, what you display on your D2C site, what you display on your uh, partner site like of the Myntra and Agios of the world, and what you display in your store, right? What we have achieved, I think we are very proud of it. That we say that we are more or less inching towards becoming a truly omni-channel retailer. So, so if I have a season launch, right, which is happening on the store or in the store at a particular date, we make sure that we are launching it on the similar date on our website. So on D2C, so AW22, if you talk about, more or less, basically, it will be synced up with our online launch as well as at the store launch. So, and we are also moving towards saying that, a digital first, right? So D2C site will have the same assortment vis-a-vis, basically, what you will have it in store. So that's on the assortment or the merchandise side. Now, how to provide the experience, what you are saying, right? Being in a store, you can go in trial room and try out the garment, look at the fit, and then, decide about, whether you're going to buy it or you want to try something else. Similar way, I mean, we have something which we have launched a couple of months back on our website. So try and buy kind of that's a tool basically where you give your body type, and with your body type, with your height, and some of the vital dimensions, if you provide, right, basis that you can try out the garment basically, which you are selecting in your cart. So of course that technology is not fully proof. You know that, being Indian, right, we all have different body types which cannot be stereotyped in a single body type. But that's the technology intervention basically which we are trying to bring in, where you can try and buy. More or less, basically, we are also moving towards very seamless kind of a return. No question asked return, and we also take pride in saying that 30 days return or 45 days return, what we offer to our customer is truly world class. I mean, what you experience in Europe and in US, right? So we live by that promise. No question asked returns. And in terms of experience of buying, you said one touch buying, right? So the idea is to to remove the friction in the customer buying journey, so that one touch buy kind of option can be given. Whatever tenders basically can be accepted at a store, the same tenders, the same coupon codes, discounting, vouchers, loyalty card, whatever you experience being in a store, the same thing is being offered on the D2C side. So these are a lot of initiatives basically which we are taking, and Pradeep, you would also appreciate that what McKinsey says, that by 2030, right, all kind of a retail purchase, right, what we are doing at around 40 to 45% will be tech enabled, right? So the tech is the tool at which we are banking a lot, and tech is not only on the website or D2C site. Tech is going to truly transform the journey at the store. Be at POS, we talk about the mirrors, the smart mirrors, where there is a try and buy, you can do it. Not only try, basically with the mirrors, basically you can explore the products. You can being in the trial room, you don't have to carry 10 garments, right? You just choose a garment, and then with your picture in the mirror, you can try it out. The shopping wall could be the next thing. So a lot of things basically which is in the pipeline, which will kind of make the experience very, very seamless. What you could do at the store, the same you could do at the website, and vice versa.
Thanks, Sanjay, and I completely agree with you. Ashutosh, the next question to you. We all talk about personalization, and we all agree that this is extremely, extremely critical. What do you think are the challenges which you are facing while providing the right personalization experience to the customers, especially from a marketplace perspective, Ashutosh?
Yeah. So Pradeep, I think we spoke about the fact that data is the new oil, right? But right now, it also has its own unique challenge now, because there are just so many sources of data for a retailer or for a marketplace. A lot of data. There could be missing data, incomplete data, and this data is always growing. So one is getting a single source of truth for the customer is not always easy. So that's one tricky piece. And then you may want to personalize things in various levels of the customer journey or various layers of the customer journey. But sometimes you could be you could face a challenge based on your tech stack. May not be easy for you. You have vision that you want to do this, but maybe data is not available, data is not good enough, or the current tech stack does not support it. You need to build something out. So that is one level of challenge. But also just taking a step back, right? And I think as Pankaj was mentioning, that personalization was happening earlier also, where you go to a shop and they know you, they figure out things about you, right? Now, in the current scenario, when we do it at scale, we can run a lot of tests, A/B tests, we can have a lot of hypotheses, and multiple tools are available. But the tools usually tell you what the customer did. They tell you what the customer does in this scenario. No tools tell you why they did what they did, right? So if I look at the earlier scenario, which Pankaj is talking about, where the retailer knows you, they talk to you, they figure out much more deeper things about your personality and your persona than what we can right now, right? Of course, we try ways around it. We do a lot of focus groups. We do a lot of other, research. But somewhere directly talking to a customer gives you a deeper level of understanding. So I would say, while tools are getting better and we are getting there slowly, but you still face some challenges from that perspective. Then also the aspect of we all look at, when we're building products, we look at personas. We try to slot people into this bucket that this is a particular persona, right? But in reality, it's a very multi-layered persona. One user at that point of time has a very different thought process. You may want to, you could personalize based on that, but they could be in a very different construct the next time, right? Like an example, that if I go to any fashion site, or any website for that matter, to purchase, right? Today, when I'm purchasing for myself, and tomorrow when I'm purchasing for someone else, it drastically differentiates in terms of how I behave, right? In terms of what kind of pricing I'm looking at. I'm looking at a good deal when I'm buying for someone else. Maybe I'm not that price conscious when I'm buying for myself. And again, a little bit around the Indian market, we are a very price conscious market, right? And I may be trying to do a lot of personalization based on your demographic or your profile, but you could just be a deal hunter who's just right now opened 4 tabs and is looking at every fashion retailer out there for that same t-shirt, just trying to get the best price out there, right? And some of these concepts, you're not able to figure out from the data. Those kind of challenges come in. But I would say the biggest challenge still, I would say at some level still remains that, a single source of customer truth. There are just so many interactions happening at multiple levels with customers right now. And the tech stack also, right? I think some of us will really appreciate the fact that you could have a very grand vision around doing something, but your tech stack has to scale, has to be built out. You would not let go of stability or order flow for a personalized component if there's a either or kind of a situation, right? So I would say these are the things, but I think we are all getting better at it, and customers, of course, expect a lot more from the user. And one last challenge I would speak about also is that now, as people are becoming more data aware in terms of what kind of data they're sharing, over a period of time, stronger controls are coming in. If you look at Europe, India, even though we've done again changes on the new data policies just coming, but whatever the new policy comes, will limit the kind of data you can store about a customer, right? Apple has already done that, right? Now, when you download an app, it tells you very explicitly that don't allow this app to track your behavior across different apps, right? So some of those data, the kind of data available to you might also shrink. So I would say these are the major challenges which are happening, and we are all working towards solving them and giving customers a better personalized experience.
Absolutely beautiful points, Ashutosh, and I completely agree that the amount of data which we have to deal with today is a huge challenge from a tech perspective also. And another important point which you made, that directly talking to the customer, I mean, nothing can replace that, even today. Though we have a lot of AI algorithms, we have a lot of data, but whatever insights which we can get in talking to the customer, that is something which nothing can beat, even today. So moving on to Harish. Harish, wanted to understand your views, because you are in US, you have also worked in UK, you have a lot of touch points there. So I just want to understand from you the perspective of the customer expectations in those countries vis-a-vis what we expect in India, especially around personalization and how styles can become one of the key elements in personalization.
Yeah, I think that's a great question again. So the personalization is not a luxury anymore. I think it's just the all US brands and retailers do a certain degree of personalization, but the goal is to become hyper personalized for the customer needs. In fact, some brands and retailers are trying to become personal stores like personalized landing pages, and then the entire product set that customer sees is essentially belonging to their style profile. So we are seeing those kind of personalization elements because consumer behavior and expectations have changed. When you look at TikTok, when you look at Netflix, Spotify, they already know what the customer doesn't know. And they just say, you might want to watch this particular video on TikTok, right? Or Instagram Reels now in India. So we are seeing that customer expectation is there that the entire experience is going to be personalized to my needs. So all these brands and retailers are trying to achieve that hyper personalization element. The other thing that we are seeing here is that they are becoming engaging style destinations versus the point of transactions. So they are attracting the consumers by having various social elements that they can like, comment on certain styles. They are going after complete the look. Like for example, if you see a product, you will see complete the look for rest of the items matching to that. In fact, you also can upload your closet item that you have, what's trending, how to wear certain things. There's some gamification going on with rewards. Like if you upload your look, will give you this kind of reward points and like that. The aim is to collect more information about the customer and keep them engaged on the platform. Okay. We are seeing some AI, advanced data science elements also. So a lot of computer vision happening where you can take a picture of a certain product and then, through the technology, you can say this kind of, product attribute can be, or metadata can be appended to that particular product picture. There are visual similar style going on. Another trend that we see is that to go out of their current e-com website and go where the customers are. Some brands and retailers are selling on social media, marketplaces, and like messaging platforms and all that. So it's not just, the customer doesn't come to your website all the time, right? So idea is to go where the customers are. And then we are seeing lastly some emerging technologies like metaverse, AR, VR experiences in terms of the virtual try-ons, some blockchain NFTs also going on. So those kind of trends that we see in the market right now.
Thanks, Harish. Quite interesting insight. Pankaj, one question from you. We all have heard that technology is very, very important. Data is extremely important. So wanted to understand from you that what technology or data analytics, what kind of technology and data analytics is being used by marketplaces like Agio to provide the personalized experience to the customers. So a broad overview of that. Pankaj?
Pankaj, you're on mute, I think.
Yeah. Pankaj, you are not audible. I still can't hear you, Pankaj. Okay. Maybe I'll go to Sukriti first in that
Can
case.
you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes,
Now
yes.
I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. So I think as Sanjay had mentioned, Harish, that data is the new oil now, right? So it is primarily about big data, and we have been using the traditional mechanism of click stream data analytics, the transactions, the orders that customer has purchased, analyzing that data. You talked about abandoned cart, so we also looked at abandoned cart and the returns, right? And then we tried to build the various models, AI, ML algorithms we apply on top of it. But beyond this traditional sort of, I called it now, this has been in the space for quite some time. So from that perspective, I'm calling it traditional. We are also trying to look at, not only what consumer are buying, but let's say what they are returning, right? What they are not liking, where are they dropping off, right? And also understanding the dynamic element, which is something similar to what Ashutosh was speaking about, that from these transactions, try to look at pattern. Usually we say, uh, Pradeep has bought this, and we make personalization around it, right? But you look at the trend line, the timeline, and try to see what sort of persona is user carrying. There are people who like to be more consistent. They have a narrow range and they generally play in that range, right? Whereas there are consumers who would like to be very experimental. Then it comes the occasion part of it, right? So bringing some external knowledge, like what season is it? Are some festivals which are going to be like if there is a Deepavali which is coming around, or if this is a Christmas which is coming around. So you blend this traditional data analytics with this some external knowledge and try to figure out the dynamic elements of the users' choices. And especially in fashion, this becomes very important because fashion itself is very dynamic, right? What was like every 6 months or so, it is changing. Right. So looking at some of those trends, of course, it is a work in progress, as different panelists have mentioned. It is easier said than done, but we are trying to sort of go into that territory. Other thing which we are also trying is, we also have huge offline stores, right, and blend that data. Uh, and I think probably Ashu or somebody spoke about single customer view. We are also moving towards that, not only understanding what customer are doing on our fashion and lifestyle properties, but also other verticals in retail. But the whole direction where we are moving towards is two. One is understanding consumer as a persona, what sort of person, behavior, preferences, and understanding the dynamic, the change which are happening on those patterns. So those are something which we are trying.
Sure. Thanks, Pankaj. Sukriti, one last question to you. Probably after this, we'll move to the question answers from the audience. I just want to understand the customer profile from a style perspective. So what do you think that is style-based personalization is suitable only for Gen Z and Millennium customers, or you feel that it is, I mean, every customer is going towards that, which is style-based personalization?
See, I don't think it's only for the Gen Z and millennials for sure. If you're providing services, you're providing it for everyone. But definitely millennials and Gen Z is the digital generation. They're the ones who've grown up in this generation, and they're the ones who are changing the way we look at personalization. And they are more demanding. They are definitely more critical about a brand, about their about what they believe in. Today, I think like smaller brands or even bigger brands, their target market is Gen Z and millennial, because they are easy to entice as customers. They're the ones who are spending most time online because they're sound digitally. And they are also, I mean, millennials and Gen Zs love DIY websites, where you can create your own look, where you can customize your own things. So if you are providing personalization, ideally that should be your target audience, because those are the ones you can entice, as opposed to someone who's not so active digitally. But also, like, I feel like these people have very strong brand values and philosophies. You can't just send a personalized email addressing them with their name and that is it. That is the personalization. I feel that they require a lot more. I mean, a brand with good social values probably will go well with the Gen Zs and millennials if they believe in it, and it will blow out of proportion on social media. So I feel like if even though they are not the only target market, but eventually if you want your styling services or any services of personalization available online to be a hit, this is a generation that is going to be your ultimate customer and users. So in a way, yes, they are the generation that are using it, but of course you should make it available to whoever, and whoever can use it. It shouldn't just be a niche to this generation, but if you look at it, it is always directed to this generation because that's where the maximum revenue comes out of.
Sure. Thanks, Sukriti. And I will also probably add one more point, that they are the generation who are driving fashion for the other generations also. I mean,
Most definitely.
if I
Yeah.
go online, my daughter tells me that this is what you should buy.
I know, and also they are very strong. They have their own mind. Today's generation is very individualistic. Like each child today is very different. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's why personalization is more important. They need something which caters to just them.
Sure. Thanks. I think now I will switch over to the audience questions. The time is limited. I mean, it has been a wonderful discussion, and I hope we had more time. But the time is limited, and probably I'll read out. There are 4 questions which I have received. Anyone can answer. I'll try to see what we can cover in next 5 minutes. So the first question which I have received is that, do you think the concept of a personal shopper, which is a digital persona shopper, will work for a multi-brand retailer? If yes, what needs to be kept in mind as the key enabler? Uh, Anybody wants to take up this question from the panelists?
I can take it
Yeah.
also, Kriti, if you wanna.
So you go ahead. Go ahead.
No, Harish, go ahead, Harish.
Yeah, so essentially the personal shopper in the US market, Amazon has already launched that. A lot of styling companies nowadays offering that service because I mentioned earlier that it's very hard for a customer to find what they really want to buy. And the personal shopper is the person who understands the user style and also give them the choices or kind of filter it down to a level that they can really breathe and say, this is what I want. So absolutely it's needed, even it's more needed for the multi-brand retailer because the choices are too many. And so absolutely, in my opinion.
Thanks. Anybody else who wants to add to this?
Just-
Yes.
Yeah, so just wanted to add that, so we have a person who is just called a stylist on our page. So sometimes what happens, customers don't even know what they want, and if you just guide them a little bit, they probably realize and discover. So let's say there's a festival, or they want to attend they have a farewell in the college. So so they sometimes are so confused with so much options available. Just providing an option, a helping hand, like a friend or a mother who's coming along to shop with you, and digitally you can't do that. Just having a support system who's just telling you, guiding you. It's in your mind, maybe you're unable to say or express. Just giving some hints and output helps a lot, and it drives a lot of sale, I think.
And that's what, Sujata, that's what we do actually. We have a style quiz, style profile that we match with the social media profiles, Pinterest boards and Facebook. And that's the intention that we have as a company to offer that services to the brands and retailers.
Thanks, Harish and Sujata. I'll move on to the next question. So next question is, every customer prefers a particular brand and are loyal to it. However, some brands, they lack innovation and trends. As said by Mr. Sanjay Tripathi, that the customers check different websites before buying. So what approach can be taken so that we do not lose the customers?
I think, let me just take a quick stab at it, right? So I think all of us, we try a lot of these modules like things you may like. So when the customer is looking for something specific, we also show them other options which are similar, maybe in terms of either the brand or the fit or the color. So some of those are just there to ensure that they see multiple options, other options out there, which help them take a decision. And of course, a lot of customers are price conscious and they are doing some kind of comparison shopping at some level. So over a period of time, your deals, your offers get customized to that. So I would say these are some ways you try to retain these customers.
Yeah. And I will probably add, Ashutosh, that personalization is again one of the keys element over here. You show the customer what exactly they want, and they probably will do the sale right then and there, rather than going to the different websites. Yeah, Pankaj, you want to add something?
Yeah, I think it's not just show them what they want. It is also about, we spoke about earlier in the conversation about personalizing the discount as well, right?
Correct.
So if you know that the likelihood of customer buying this is very high, then you instantly show a different discount, personalized discount to the consumer. So I think that also helps a lot.
So the time is up. I have two more questions, but I don't think that there is time to take those questions. I would like to thank all the panelists for the time which they have given here. And some of the takeaways from our side, I mean, everybody agrees that the personalization is definitely key. And it's more of a hygiene now than rather than a USP which a brand has right now. So everybody almost has to go into that direction. And personalization is not just about the products which we are showing it to the customers, but in every communication, in every touch point of the customer, we need to have the personalization and we have to have a personalized touch. Some of the key quotes which I have taken is that, like Sujata said, that the brand should come to the customer. It should find the customer rather than the customer finding the brand, right? Our brand should have a face. So some of the important and extremely deeply meaning quotes. Few challenges which I could anticipate is that one of the biggest challenges is the amount of data with which we have to deal with, and efficiently have the tech out of it so that we can have meaningful personalization coming out of it. So thanks a lot, all the speakers. It was immensely useful to me, at least. And I'm sure to everybody, whoever was the audience. Thanks once again.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
you.
Pradeep. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Pleasure meeting everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for bringing very pertinent points to the table, the industry insights. Certainly, very engaging and interesting discussion. On behalf of ET Retail and Fashmates, I thank you all for sparing your precious time from a busy schedule. Thank you to the audience for your active engagement. Hope you all got answers to your questions. Finally, thank you to Fashmates for partnering with us. Once again, thank you to all of you. Take care of yourself and your loved ones and keep following etretail.com for fresh content and latest event happening. Take care and stay safe.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Have a
Thank
nice
you.
weekend ahead,
Bye.
guys.